So you want to drive traffic to your webinar, but you don't have an ad budget. No problem. What's up guys, Chris at WebinarGrow here. And when I started doing SaaS webinars, I didn't know anything about paid traffic. I'd never run a PPC campaign. I didn't even know how to spell PPC. But what I did know how to do was use very simple traffic sources to get in front of the perfect audience for my webinars. And before we go any further, if you wouldn't mind smashing that like button and subscribing, super helpful for growing this small channel, really appreciate it. And let's get into it. So the three traffic sources we're gonna be looking at today are email, social media, and then traffic you're already getting on your website. So I always recommend this to clients. Email is going to be huge for driving traffic to your webinar. So you've got two main channels with email. You've got warm email, which are people that have subscribed to your blog, they've opted into some marketing communication, maybe they signed up for a demo and never showed up, but whatever the case is, they know who you are and they've already consented to receive emails from you. Definitely email this list. You want to do this regularly with your webinars because the whole point of doing regular webinars are to build that warm email list and get in contact with them more frequently. The second channel, which is mostly overlooked, is using cold email to drive traffic to your webinar. Now, I've generated thousands of webinar leads through cold email, and let me tell you, it's probably the most cost-effective method out there. Now, it's not easy. We'll actually do a whole training just on cold email, but here's some top-level things you want to keep in mind. Number one is use a separate domain. So those of you, if you're sending cold emails from your main domain, stop doing that. Don't do that at all. It's horrible for your IP reputation. If something goes wrong, you can end up on a blacklist and now your customers aren't going to receive your emails. Now, the second piece of the puzzle for driving low cost or free traffic is social media. But instead of running ads, because we don't have an ad budget, what we're going to do is do organic posting. So again, we got this fictional chiropractic CRM. We're going to start targeting some places where they might live. So for example, here, if they're on Facebook, I might look at chiropractic groups. So here's a big public group here, a private group, and you don't want to spam these groups. You don't want to do anything shady. Provide value, make sure you're transparent about who you are. But if you're providing value and putting links in here with the forum owner's permission, it's a great way to drive traffic. So if I went in here, I might put in a very simple post. Hey everybody, we're doing a training on lead generation next week. Would love to chat with some of the group members. And then you can put the link in. And again, be sure to get permission from the admins of these groups. And this is more than just Facebook. This is anywhere where your audience might be. So for example, if they're on LinkedIn, you could join a LinkedIn group, connect with people. I've done that in the past. Forums are great. Might be some old school message boards out there. And again, be upfront about who you are, but it's a great way to get in front of people. And if you have a relationship with these types of groups, you could even do an affiliate relationship where if X number of people show up from their group, you can give them a percentage of the sales or some sort of bonus, lead generation fee. It's a very, very cost-effective way of doing that. And in addition to groups, you can also make posts on LinkedIn, Facebook, these other forums, especially if you have a lot of contacts in that industry already. Great way to get in front of them. You could also even send them messages. Done this in the past. You can either do this manually or automate some outbound messages. Again, very soft touch, nothing overly spammy, but inviting people to your webinar. So if you're using an automation software like Expandy or using an agency like Cleverly, that can be something that you're doing continuously to drive traffic. And the final piece of the puzzle is leveraging the traffic that you're already getting. So what I mean by that is, if you've got a website, which hopefully if you have a SaaS, you've got a website, right? You can put some information on here for your webinar. So you could put, say on our site here, we have a free training you can go to, and I'll put the link for that down below. But if someone at any time wants to log in and watch an on-demand webinar, they can do that here. So you can have something like this front and center on your website. You could even have a pop-up or a sticky bar on top of your website, letting them know about an upcoming event you have. This is especially good for live webinars. If you have a live webinar coming up, have something that's 7 days before the event popping up on the website. The other thing you do is actually put calls to action in your other content. So for example here, on HubSpot, they've got a how to write a blog post blog. And you can see here, you've got calls to action for blog post templates. There's a button here, there's a button here on the right. As you scroll down, there are links. So you can build this into your content strategy, whether it's an ebook or a blog, an email sequence, have invites there as well, because if people are already showing up, it's a great way to get them to opt in to content like a webinar. Well, I hope this content was helpful for you. If you have any questions or comments, you can put those down below, and we'll talk to you soon.